Jeez.
Yo, people, welcome to Grizz TV. I hope you didn't catch us off air there. I think I went live without doing the intro. Yeah, did I, Errol? No problem. No
I
problem.
think you did. I think anyone noticed.
Yeah, I think I did. And Steve was like looking at his, Steve was looking at his account saying, geez, like, you know, we got caught off camera, but it is what it is. That's why it's Khanage. You know, that's why it's Khanage. Welcome, people, to another episode of Khanage. This one's called Judgment Day. Beckons, because, yeah, boy, it's final weekend. What a mad season it's been so far. We've come down to it. And to talk about it all, I thought I'd bring in some big boys for the big dog showdown of this weekend. So I brought in Errol, my man, up from Scousland. How are we feeling, my brother? You good?
Cool, good, bro. Yeah, I'm just ready for the weekend now. I'm not like full party mode yet, but I am ready for the weekend. Got a few nice things to just look forward to, and then hopefully the big game on Sunday. And you know, we'll see winner takes all type events in it, really.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, everyone will know my brother from City. He may be my enemy on the pitch, but he's most certainly my brother off the pitch. Welcome again, Big Steve.
Welcome, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's good to have. It's good to be on tonight and chat some proper football. You know what I mean? Instead of talking about Arsenal for 45 minutes or an hour on the Big Six. Boring.
Jeez. Yeah. Look, do you know what? We were talking off air, and Errol actually asked me in the daytime. He was like, because normally I send him a little agenda, what we're going to talk about, whatever. Because on my channel, I like to keep it a little bit structured as opposed to fucking full on madness, right? And I said to him today, I go, do you know what, Errol? It's me and Steve. We chat every day about football anyway. And I'm just going to take that chat, what me and Steve talk every day. I'm just going to put it on a show. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's the best way to do it. And Errol was like, you know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, let's have a chat. We don't need to get into it deep. We don't need to banter our clubs. We're not banter clubs. That's why.
We get more grief for defending Arsenal than we do for defending our own team.
It's mad. How mad is that, Steve?
I just did on the Mank Talk. I just told Saeed that I wanted Liverpool to win the European Cup, and his head fell off.
Yeah, his head's been falling off these days.
His head well and truly blew off. So,
and he's got a massive head as well. So if his one falls off, the world's in trouble. But listen, we will talk about that another day and another time. People are letting us know the scores. All right, you lot watching football, you lot watching relegation football rather than tuning into Grizz TV. All right, no problem. But the people that are multitasking, fair play. Smash a like. There's nearly 100 of you in here already. Big up yourself. Smash a like. All of that good stuff. You know we're growing. You know we're trying to give you content. And yeah, man, Errol, man, I call it Judgment Day. And obviously it's come down to this, but it's not really Judgment Day because when you're talking about a league season, it's different from a cup final. So, because if it was Man City and Liverpool, it would be a cup final, we're playing each other. This is one of those ones where we're both playing at home. We've both got fairly easy fixtures, right? Let's be honest. Both teams haven't got much to play for. How are you feeling going into this? Because I know me and you have spoken as well. I've had mixed feelings throughout the week. Obviously, the highs of Wembley. Yeah. And then I felt a bit funny going into the Southampton game because I was thinking, Man City, in my opinion, there's a 90% chance Man City win the league, right? I'll give ourselves maximum 10%, right? Mm-hmm. So I was thinking with all the injuries and all the rotations, I don't want any more going into Madrid. So me, as a layman who's not a coach of Liverpool and I don't know how to instill the right mentality because that's what these coaches are for, right? I was thinking maybe we just ease off and get no injuries and look forward to Madrid. Yeah. But then we can do what we do against Southampton. And then we start dreaming again and thinking crazy shit happens in football. Like we've seen us three between us have seen crazy shit in football. Anything can happen. Are you still dreaming, Errol?
Of course, like I've said it to enough people this week that if you would have told me going into the last weekend of the season that we would be within 1 point of City for the title, we'd already be in a Champions League final, we'd already have the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup in the bag, would I have took that at the start of the season? I'd have bit your hand off for that scenario. So whichever way the wind blows, as you said, it probably is a 90-10% split in terms of will we get the Premier League over the line this weekend. But just to simply have pushed City this far into the season, into the last game where they have to perform. City can't go into it and not play well. They can't go into it and not get a result. They've got to get a result. So whether we can accept it or not, there is a certain level of pressure that is applied to City this weekend, and that's applied simply because Liverpool have not give up. We've not let them off the hook. We've not let them walk away with it like they have done in the past. And I think that's testament to our squad, not only the usual suspects that we see within our starting 11. I think that is testament to the squad that we've got. And the one thing I will say about City off the bat is they are the greatest Premier League side of all time. They just are. And check the context.
Do you believe that? Are you on that train? Yeah, because I've said it before, and people say I'm arse licking Steve, right? And we get it all the time. But go on. First time I've heard you say it.
Check the context, Grizz, yeah? The best Premier League side of all time. And that for me is because if you take away all the other competitions and you only get to represent in one campaign, season on, season out, Manchester City, what they have done has taken the Premier League to a new level. I seen someone put up it might have been like a screenshot of when Leicester won the league and it was Spurs behind them. Leicester won it on 77 points. Nobody was able to challenge them. No one was doing jack shit back then. There have been times when Man U teams have won it on low 80s. Chelsea won it on low 80s. There's only been a handful of teams that have got over the 90-point mark to win it, let alone do that on a more than consistent basis. Where since City got 100, am I right in saying every time you've won the league, you've won it on over 90 points, Steve?
Yeah.
Like that's levels that in terms of, and for the majority of that period as well, it's been the same team. It's been the same spine of the team. It's been the same crop of players that have done it. So it's not like a flash in the pan. He was amazing. Like that 13-14 season for us, that's the 11 or 13 players were great and he performed out of the skin, but there was no legacy behind it. You can look at maybe the Man U sides of the past where you could say, well, they had a little bit of legacy and they was a really good side. The amount of times that they won it back to back to back potentially. But I just think in terms of not only winning it back to back and then winning the amount that they've won in recent years, by actually taking it to the points total that they've done as well, just solidifies them. For me, in my opinion, is the best Premier League team of all time.
Steve, I've often said similar. I think it's hard to call them the best ever because you're always going to get, other teams thrown in. And I personally rate the Jose Mourinho second team as one of the greatest as well. The second one he made, I think. Is it the second one he made? Sorry.
I thought the first one he made was...
Sorry, the team that won the second title.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the Man United treble winners, you cannot discount. Is it the treble they won or something, isn't it? Great teams, but I've said this Man City team is an absolute juggernaut. Steve, how do you rate them? Like, I'm asking the biggest City fan I know who's seen like from the doldrums to the top. I get that, but just try to speak on it as neutral as you can, if you could. Like, how do you see your City team in the last few years on a level of what me and Errol are talking about?
It's actually good to hear someone give them credit like that. I feel like not a lot of people like to do that. I think they all want to throw the money angle at it. They all want to say, oh, anyone can do it with money. Pep can't do it without Messi. Pep can't. Yeah. And when you actually take that childish bullshit out of it, and actually from a footballing week to week going fan like myself and you guys that watch it, you've got to appreciate the levels. You've got to appreciate the egos and the way he changed the system, playing out from the back, and had to wait a season to get the fullbacks, and then he won the Premier League, and then he does the Centurion season. It's never been done. Then he wins the Formidable season, which people can frown at, but that's never been done. And you're right, he is taking it to the next level. But I've said many a time on the Big Six show that without someone like Klopp and Liverpool on his tail, he doesn't get to that level because they're pushing each other. Because Pep is a manager that needs stimulating, and Jurgen Klopp is the same. And without the other, one or the other in the league, I don't think we're getting this. And this is what's intriguing by it. Because City and Liverpool now, people say they're making up this rivalry. Listen, we haven't got rivalry or hatred where we hate each other and things have gone on in the past and we've been battling like fuck outside the ground and all that. That's bullshit. This is a pure football rivalry where you've got to take a step back.
Yeah, it's pure football.
You've got to take a step back and go, fuck me. I can go in the Arkles outside Liverpool and stand at the bar when City are playing after the game and talk football with the guys in the Arkles about fucking hell, we just picked you to the title and all that. And that's the difference with it, because people appreciate football. You know, Man United, Liverpool, things have gone on in the past. It's got deep rooted and it's hated. This isn't like that. And people go, oh, it's all friendly. Well, what else do you want it to be? Because if we were knocking 10 lumps out of each other on the pitch and knocking 10 lumps of each other outside the ground, everyone would be saying it's fucking disgusting. We're literally stood there admiring both sets of players. Just as you think Man City are pulling clear, Liverpool signs someone, gives them a boost. Then just as you think Liverpool are catching them, Man City go and pull someone else out the hat, and then they go again. And I mean, it's fantastic times as a Man City fan to see this. I mean, but it's even the media and that. We talk about all the time about the way they portray it. The media's mad. City going for a quadruple the other year. That guy wrote an article saying it's the worst thing in football. The same guy's written an article about Liverpool saying it's the best. And you've got the other side of the coin where some are saying, oh, if Liverpool win the quadruple, it'd be the worst thing in English football history. And then you've got, so it's bullshit. But I just think us as fans, we're privileged to watch both teams. I mean, the nerves I get when I go in Anfield or when I play Liverpool, that's when you know you've got to respect the team. That's when me and you, Grizz, talked about the intensity levels at Anfield and at the Etihad and the way the fans go. Liverpool, I've been in Anfield when it's been a league game and it's been flat and shite. But then they're not like that anymore against Man City. Them games are gone. It's Man City. They're a bugbear of Liverpool. Liverpool's a bugbear of us, and it's mad. So, listen, we're a fantastic side, and what Pep Guardiola's been doing is brilliant, and he's finally getting the credit for it. But now the agenda's turned now. It's now, he'll never be classed as a great because he hasn't won the Champions League. Okay, in some people's eyes, yeah. But for Manchester City supporters and for me, no. If he wins on Sunday, it'd be his 4th Premier League title in 5 years. Now, you know yourself, this Premier League is hard to win. It's hard to win. There's no hiding. 38-game season, rain, sleet or snow, week in, week out, European competitions in midweek. You've always got to perform in the Premier League because you're going to get done. And for Pep to do it that way, yeah, he's one of the best.
The reason I probably say as well, and I can put all that money stuff aside and all the other things that people tend to throw at it, is because those players have no influence over that. So you could have all of that and you could pump it all in, but if the players don't turn up, then it was all for nothing, essentially. It's the fact that those players have been able to turn up and remain as consistent as they have, find new levels, find extra ways to keep themselves motivated. You are mirroring what this Liverpool side have done. The one thing I will say, and it'll probably be more of a benefit to City than it will for Liverpool, because Liverpool's been such a footballing institution within the country for as long as we have. I don't think City have got that legacy yet as a club. And I'm not just talking about Premier, I'm just talking about a club. You've been up and down. This is your golden era, really, where everything's kind of fell into line in the right place for you. But I think when that happens, you end up becoming a Chelsea or an Arsenal, where over the time now, for the next 10 to 15 years, even once Pep's gone, City are going to be very relevant at the very top ends of English football. And I think that has been born out of that heated football and rivalry between the teams, because when you then look 4 or 5 years down the line, you will probably want to hold your team to the standards that were set in this era. This will be your benchmark now for this is where we was, this is where we need to be, this is what we want to be doing. And I think it is fair criticism to kind of level at Pep that he's not been able to do one better than last year and obviously get to a Champions League final and win it. But I think that's purely based on all the other context that I remove. You add that back in for the Champions League on the basis that those were the targets and the ambitions that were set from the board. He's had no problems really winning the league. It's only as Liverpool have come and made it more competitive that now you've had to go at domestic level. The problem and the issues that you were facing on a consistent basis was, how do we crack Europe? Pep should be that guy. He's that final piece of the jigsaw puzzle for that European equation that we haven't been able to solve yet. And that's the only real level of criticism that you can have about him, in the same way people will have criticism that Klopp hasn't won more Premier League titles. But if City wins all the Premier League titles and Liverpool have got to 3 Champions League finals, who else can really win it? It's one or the other of us. Do you know what I mean? So we're splitting the pot. It's either you have one and I'll have the other. And obviously last season you got closer in being able to do the quad yourself. So the levels to it are just unbelievable. Like
the thing is,
in my lifetime, I've never seen levels like it.
We need to we it's all right, man. Yeah, people saying you're winning Prems. We won one with Mancini, and then it went tits up, and we won an FA Cup, and we won one with Pellegrini and a League Cup. What Pep's done, what we had to do, which the chairman said to him, was we need to make sure we're competing for every competition every season. So if we'd have won one European Cup and not won any Prems, for me, that's not progression, because the European Cup's a cup competition. And you've seen the best team doesn't always win the European Cup. But the fact that we've won League Cups, FA Cups, 4 trophies in a season, 100 points a season, shows you that the club as a whole is getting more and more consistent on a regular basis. So the last 2 seasons, we've gone to a Champions League final, got beaten in an FA Cup semi-final twice. We've won the league, could be twice. So this is where us as a club have to be arriving at the end of the season, competing on all fronts. If we just won the European Cup and nothing else, and then had a couple of seasons out of it, and I don't think that, I mean, the European Cup, we haven't won it, and it'll always be a stick to bang us on the head with. But if we do win it, you know, these Premier Leagues, you know yourself, the Premier League's got something about it where there's no hiding. As soon as City win a European Cup, no one can say nothing, because if anyone thinks Manchester City Football Club is going away, then they're sadly mistaken. They've just signed one of the best strikers in the world for £53 million. He's worth 200 mil. We've signed him for 53. They can't even go out and say, oh, you went out there and fucking bought Erling Haaland for 200 million. That's why you're winning the Champions League. We got him at the right money. And at the end of the day, the money situation, yeah, but Pep Guardiola, and some people say, oh, but Pep couldn't do it with a lesser team. Pep Guardiola managed Barcelona, yeah, B team. They were shit. The fact that Barcelona, a European giant like Barcelona, trusted Pep Guardiola to go on into a Barcelona institution like that, took a gamble on Pep Guardiola to manage it, and he went in and got rid of Ibrahimovic and Eto'o and brought Messi in and all that. And the fact that he turned that around, surely to God, that kills that myth of Pep Guardiola can't do it with a shit team. Because when he went in Barcelona, they wasn't outstanding. And he changed the whole football landscape to suit Pep Guardiola. Now, all these managers in the world, you've got teams like Watford coming to the Etihad playing from the back. Where's it come from? Pep. So at the end of the day, Pep Guardiola might not get the flowers because he hasn't done it at Oldham Athletic or whoever they want to say it is. But Pep Guardiola has changed football in England for good. And he's changing it in a good way. And he's always, you know, his time at Man City, from a Man City point of view, will always be classed as a massive success, whether he wins the Champions League or not. But outside media and that, they can always throw stones. But we're happy with him. If he left tomorrow, absolutely over the moon with him.
I'm in agreement with both of you. I hate fucking doing a show where we're all nodding away and agreeing, but sometimes you have to listen, appreciate what's being said, and acknowledge it, right? And Steve knows I'm a huge Pep fan, and it hurts me. So that's where you know that I've got respect. It hurts me, Errol, that he's at Man City because I love him, and
I prefer it, because if you weren't at Man City, he'd be at Man U, bro, or he'd have been at Chelsea, and that would have been a completely different player's proposition for us. I couldn't have took that smoke. I couldn't have took that smoke. City's non-offensive in the nicest possible way. Do you get me?
I get that. But I'm with you guys. Look, my opinion on the money situation is the beauty about Pep. He doesn't shy away from it. He doesn't deny it. He accepts it. And one of the early things that he says and said, give me money to buy players. I will not only guarantee you success, but I will guarantee you success playing a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's unique, people. We have to admit that. The way they play football is unique to the Premier League. Okay, he done it at Barca. Then he replicated at Bayern. But the Premier League hasn't seen that kind of football. Possibly Wenger, actually. Wenger, you have to admit, Wenger implemented something similar, right? And possibly Liverpool before that, when we played the beautiful game. Do you know what I mean? In the early 80s, right? So, but apart from that, people have to accept that what he does is, look, he admits it. Give me money. Give me the players that I want. And Steve's right. They don't go out spending willy-nilly 100, 200 break. They buy 50, 60 million players, a lot of them. But he knows what he wants to play, the brand of football that he wants. And he's not the only one. How many clubs, and I know Steve's been on the warpath about the neighbours across the road, how much money have they spent? How much have neighbours of our neighbours spent, Errol? And look where they are fighting for relegation. PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Do you remember the Galacticos? People forget how much the Galacticos spent. And they won, I think they only won one Champions League, if someone corrects me in the chat. I'm not sure how much the Galacticos won. Teams of the past have spent millions and millions and billions, but you've not been able to integrate the personalities, the style of football that Pep has. You have to give him credit. Sometimes you don't see eye to eye with him and you're gone. He's brave enough to do that. So that's what he does, or he admits his mistakes and errors, like the Bravos or who's that defender, Mangala, and all these players. If you're not up to it, all right, move on. Yes, they've got the luxury to take a hit on it and loss in it.
Mangali, they were Pellegrini's boys then. Pep's made a handful of ones. Leroy Sané we sold for a profit. Ferran Torres we sold for a profit.
But again, that was personal issues.
Nolito wasn't right, so he went. We had to sign. Gail Clichy and Pablo Zabaleta were both retiring. We had to sign them. So we signed Mendy for 50 million, Walker for 50 million. Mendy's not worked out. Walker has. We signed Sterling for 50 million. All these players now we could get more money for. Do you know what I mean? You look at Rodri. You look at all the players. There's a recruitment process at City, and wages and all that come into it, and they don't break it. And they haven't broke it with Haaland. People say he's on 500 grand a week. He's not. It's on less than De Bruyne. It's came out. It's all bonus related. Jack Grealish, 100 million. It's the first time we've gone that far. The reason we had to go that far is because he had a clause in his contract. But don't forget, the whole of this country was creaming over Jack Grealish in the Euros, saying he was going to win us the Euros. He was the hottest property in English football. And before anyone else did, because somebody would have, United would have probably gone there, we just activated the clause and got him. And I think Jack Grealish will do all right in the end. But all this, as soon as people start going about the money, I just think to myself, you know what? We're a football club. We're owned by one of the richest families in the world. If we're not entitled to spend on our business to get it up to speed, what's the point? What's the point?
Absolutely. And as Dawa says here, the Galacticos won one Super Cup and one league. They didn't even win the Champions League. People forget about how much they spent. Got a super chat.
Someone's mentioning Garcia in the chat. Garcia came through the youth team. He's gone. You know what I mean? The youth team. Listen, we didn't only have to build a team. We had to build a football club, because the football club from top to bottom was a shit show. Liverpool Football Club, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal are all institutions. We were famous for cock-ups, not cups.
Less than Chelsea, mate. Come on, let's not pick up Chelsea.
But we had to. Don't forget, Chelsea had a free run at it with no FFP. The second we got a load of dough, mate, we're getting shackles put on us. So at the end of the day, we've had to build a football club and a structure. And you look at the football club they've built, you look at the structure, the City Group, the teams all around the world. It's not stopping, man. It's not stopping.
What you said earlier was spot on about you're not going away. And that's all about building, like you said, from the bottom to top, as opposed to just winning for the sake of winning and then crashing. So Chelsea have got this mad style, haven't they, where it's coaches rotating, spending willy-nilly, crashing.
Grizz,
You know, it's
Pep
chaos.
Guardiola was brought in for the Champions League to win the Champions League. Why haven't they sacked him? Because he's been there 6 years. If all he wants is the Champions League, they don't.
Not,
do you know why they
I don't think that's all they want, though. I think, as you said, a large part of what you said was spot on in terms of his objectives, making you better and being competitive in all the competitions at this point in every season. And he's got the ability to do that. But I think with the money and the resources that your club, as you've said, we're going to spend irrespective of who your manager was, whether you would have went and got Sven-Göran Eriksson back, or whether you would have got, you would have went for Klopp eventually, or whatever it might have been, whoever was going to be your manager next after Pellegrini, they would have still backed them with resources. Whether it was they're going to play a particular style of play as well as be successful, that's another discussion or argument you could potentially have. It was always be successful. They would have probably taken a Simeone form of success in terms of, or style of play, I should say, if it was still breeding them success. I don't think the style typically matter to City, just purely because, again, my City's history knowledge is piss poor. I'm not going to try and tell you about your own club, but I can't expect you to have had some iconic style of football and play in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. So you would have been, you would have accepted whatever you were given, though, essentially, as long as it was breeding your success. So on top of that, it was whatever resources we pump into whatever manager, we're expecting success.
The thing is, as well, with the United thing, right? United spent £1 billion that won a Prem. This thing about the inflated, people in the chat going on about inflated sponsorship deals and all that, right? Okay, on a minute, right? But who in this chat is a financial expert? Because let me tell you this, yeah. If your team's winning the Premier League season after season, the biggest club competition in the world, and you are the champions, yeah? You have the trophy, yeah? If you're part of a City football group that has 12, 15 clubs all around the world in Asia, India, China, America, they're the biggest markets in the world, yeah? If I'm Etihad Airways and I say, right, you can have Manchester City shirt sponsorship for 40 million, but you also, this is what people forget, Grizz, yeah? They also got the naming rights of the training ground in Melbourne, America, Manchester. They're also got the stadium naming rights in the same deal for Melbourne. The companies that have come in, Nexen Tires, are on shirts in Yokohama, Japan. So when you say they're overinflating the deal, they're not. They're pumping the money in the football group, and the money's distributed around. It's a great business model, and other clubs will follow it. So if Manchester City, the champions of England, can't charge a premium to put a shirt on their shirt when they're the champions, when can they charge that? If we were 7th, 8th in the Premier League and we did a kit deal bigger than Liverpool, who'd won the league, everyone would moan, right? But if Manchester City do a kit deal bigger than Man United now, is that not right? Do we not deserve that? Are we not the most successful team in the last 10 years? So all this nonsense about, oh, you're not allowed to do it because it's Man City, it's bullshit. Because if you're a businessman, Grizz, and me and you own a business and we've got 50 million to put on a shirt, and someone offers me Man United, who at the minute are going down the drain, the fans are all over the place, not winning any trophies, or you offer me Man City for the same money, I'm going with Man City.
Do you know what it is? Actually, look, I tell you what, I don't want to get into the financial side of things and all that business because none of us are experts, as you hit the nail on the head first time, right? And B, what I would say is people do forget.
Everton are winning, by the way. Everton are winning, by the way.
I really cursed that, didn't I? Fuck's sake. I do. I've got this way of doing things, man. I literally tweeted, right, about at halftime, I literally tweeted Everton thought a bit of pyro and coach greeting is going to make them good at football, right? And
look, Man United have more fans and will sell more shirts. Well, I'm sorry, from a business point of view, that doesn't wash. You know what I mean? You want to be associated with champions and winners. That's why Formula One teams that win shit get the massive sponsorship deals because they win shit, not because they got more fans because one of the drivers is from a country with more. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. No, I said that. Look, it's all relative. In the era when Man United made themselves successful, right? You know, look, all I'm going to say is no millionaire, billionaire, right, is squeaky clean. Let's just leave them to it. Let's just focus on the football on the football pitch, right? And take it for what we can control and make an opinion on, you know, and admire and appreciate. And that's the football, right? Things behind closed doors, things upstairs in boardrooms, These are things beyond our control and beyond our knowledge. I tell you that for a fact. We are naive if we think reading a couple of reports makes us experts on what's going on behind sponsorship deals and big boy deals. Not just at Man City. And I'm not saying that because Steve's a mate and he's on my channel. I'll tell him in private as well. And he knows as well. I'll tell him how it is. Me and Steve talk bluntly. It's not Man City. You look at every major club or institution in any walk of life. Forget football, in any walk of life. We have no idea what's going on. We can only take things on face value. And face value is football teams, 2 football teams that are playing some of the best football this country has ever seen. And to levels, as you said, Errol, that are beyond comparable to recent times. Just a couple of super chats. In fact, you can go first, Errol. Even though Nicholas,
I was going to agree with you, bro. That's literally why I say I just look at the football team more often than not, because you can't dispute that. Like what they've done over the last 4 or 5 years, especially since Liverpool's been on its rise, has been nothing short of out of this world, not seen before, and that's why I give them that honour of, for me, being the best Premier League team, because I think this is probably the best era of the Premier League in terms of how many teams have actually not only got the resources to go toe-to-toe with the big boys,
people forget that.
And the talent is of an equal enough level. The coaches, I think, you know, back in the day, you had 2 really good coaches, but if you look at the Prem now, there may be 4 or there might be 3 or 4 that you would argue could potentially push into a world-class category. I don't think you would have said that in the early 2000s or the 2010s, early 2010s, I should say. So you've kind of got to give that little bit of an honour to City, but equally to just flip it back round and obviously big up Liverpool. I agree with Steve when he said that the City are only where they are because we've pushed them that far. We are the irremovable object, meets the indisputable force or whatever it is. Like that's literally the 2 sizes of these juggernauts at the moment, and without one, the other couldn't exist.
We're going to come on to that. We're going to come on to that now because, but first, Nicholas says, Steve, you know what? We've got a lot of love from Man United fans, Steve, in the chat. Like we're Man United fans, but we love Grizz and Steve. That's amazing. They've turned off all their fan media channels. Surprise, surprise. Steve, my favorite enemy. Just curious, what's your guys' top 4 next season? I know a lot can change, but do you think the top will be much closer? Errol, you can go first.
It'll be closer. Again, I don't like to predict without knowing exactly where all the cards lie, to be honest, and you can't really say that until you're kicking off the new season. Which managers stay, which players come in and out.
Well, let's assume everyone stays as they are in terms of managers.
Stays as they are. I think the top 4. The only one for me that's at risk of dropping out is probably Chelsea because of the level of uncertainty. I think there's a level of stability at Tottenham. I think obviously Liverpool and City are in a league of their own, and provided there's no mad injuries next season, we'll probably still end up on the same level of trajectory.
Steve?
Yeah, I mean, we've already made the Haaland signing, man, and it's out the. I've been 57 games this year, City's had. I've been to 51. And the amount of games where I've looked next to someone and gone, fucking hell, man, if we'd had a striker there on the end of that De Bruyne. Because sometimes, don't forget, Kevin De Bruyne this season, he's bursting forward in midfield. Usually he has someone he can look at who makes the run, he can whip the ball in. This season, everyone's pulling wide or coming right up to him close. He's having to do it himself. Next season, I think the Haaland signing gives us another dimension, takes us to another level. So I expect City and Liverpool to be the same again. I think Manchester United are in a transitional period, a big one. I think that Chelsea's the same, that Errol said with the uncertainty. I don't think, I said it, everything's not rosy in the garden there. You might get a couple of, if Tottenham buy well, and if Arsenal fans and Arsenal get behind Arteta and bring a little bit of experience into their squad, I think they could be pushing. But I think it's going to be more of the same. You're going to have City and Liverpool going for the title. Maybe someone early door, but they'll fall off. And then I think the top 4 race at the minute is getting as exciting as the title race. Chelsea, Arsenal, maybe Man United, Tottenham.
I've said it openly. I think Chelsea drop out, lads. I genuinely think Chelsea in for a bit of a shock next season, Chelsea fans. But as you said, it's a bit early, and we've got better clubs to talk about, namely City and Liverpool. Got a super chat from Dinesh here. He says, if we don't win the league, He means Liverpool. If we don't win the league, we've had a good season. Next season, 5 subs. Both teams will have more firepower to bring on and cannot see anyone catching us both for the next 4 years. I kind of agree with that, especially with the 5 sub rule. Errol, we've obviously solidified our squad very quietly, very shrewdly, without making a splash like we do. Right? So City have bought Haaland, Man United by Champions League Varanes and Ronaldos every season, right? But go further away from the summit. Yet we've managed to just quietly buy our usual 30-40 million pound players and got a squad now that can compete with City, and we've proven it, and can compete in all the competitions, which was one of our criticisms, right? So where this sub rule will help us, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, because most of our business has been done now, the squad that Klopp wants for Liverpool 2.0 till the back end of his new contract is already assembled, having an understanding of how Klopp wants to play at a very good level and an ability to kick on. There's still more in the ceilings for the likes of Trent. I still think Trent can go up another level or two, which is a scary prospect. I think the likes of, we've got Diaz, who I still say, until he's had a pre-season under his belt, we're not seeing the best of him.
No, he doesn't even know. He hasn't got the patterns of play in his brain yet. He's doing off the
he doesn't know. Do you know what I mean? He's just playing on vibes. This kid's been playing on vibes since he's got him, and Klopp's been happy for him to play on vibes, which isn't usually a Klopp tact. But he's went, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. Play on vibes. No one's going to be able to stand you up and go and do your thing and help us along the way. And he's proved he can do it.
Do you think Salah's going?
Ooh, mate, that's a big one, to be honest with you.
If you don't sign that Diaz and Salah doesn't sign this contract, I think there's panic stations. I think Liverpool fans are thinking, if he goes, he goes. We've got Diaz.
I think we're not as panicking as we were. You're right. Yeah, we would have been mad and panicky. But Jurgen Klopp's got us believing so much, like in terms of just trusting the pro. Do you know, like Steve, when you hear
together, he doesn't want to break it up. He doesn't want to break up the band just yet. And I think that's the most important thing. If Jurgen had his wish stay, Salah stays. Whether, as you said before, the stuff that we don't know that goes on above Jurgen and hierarchies in the club, that might take that decision out of his hands.
Klopp signing a new contract, and then I'm thinking they're going to pull fucking Salah contract out here. This is going to give him a right boost. And then the fact it's not come out yet, I'm thinking, is there something not quite right there? Diaz coming in. I don't know.
No, I think I've spoke to you in private as well, Steve. I'm pretty certain Salah signs. The one that may leave and's got a higher chance of leaving is Sadio Mane. But again, when you hear trust the process for other clubs, Steve, right? And we laugh, don't we? We don't laugh when it comes to Liverpool because they're probably the best example. And I'm going to come to you now, Steve. So it's your time to talk about your not enemy but nemesis in Liverpool. We just won't go away. Like otherwise, this is the Bundesliga for you lot. This is the French, what's it called, Liga or whatever it's called. Right? If there's no Liverpool, you guys clean sweep everything. So where does Klopp and Liverpool? You're going.
On top of that, I think without Liverpool, City win the Champions League sooner as well. By proxy, that the league would have been easier for them. They could have rested more players. They could have had more time to focus and drill down on games, and they could do it because they haven't got that history of Europe. They've not known how to juggle those expectations this early. But if we would have been removed from that situation or not on our trajectory, I think they might have had a better shout at the Champions League as well. Yeah, go on.
But Steve, what level of respect have you got for Liverpool and the way we've done it? Because our owners in the early days were called everything under the sun. Trust me, Steve. It was like they went through a real rough patch, right? But they've but they've been proved right. I think, Steve. We've got to be fair as a fan base. They don't spend willy-nilly. They've got their methodology of doing things.
They've had to do it different, haven't they? They've had to do it different. They've had to not fall for the fan expectation and just go out and panic and give the manager what he wants all the time. They've had to be shrewd with it. Like you say, Coutinho sales and things like that. You look at Tottenham when they sold Bale, went out there and blew it on pure shit, man. And then, Liverpool have spent well. The recruitment at Liverpool's been good. I mean, you look at, when people talk about City with the money, Mancini won the league and he went out and signed Javi Garcia, Scott Sinclair, Jack Rodwell, yeah, and fucking lost the league to one of the worst Man United teams ever who just signed Van Persie, got him over the line. So that is the level of recruitment. This is where you got to trust your manager, innit? Because if you're a club and your finances are tight, the last thing you can afford to do is give a manager the dough who you don't trust. And I
Brendan
think
Rodgers and Suarez.
Yeah, well, I think
when we had Suarez, though, Brendan Rodgers just spunked it up the wall. It was a Thiago Aspas.
But Jurgen Klopp now, you trust if they pull 100 million out from somewhere and Jurgen says he needs 2 players, he's going to go out there and get 2 quality players for 50 million apiece. And it's the same with Pep. You know what I mean? Up until this season with Grealish, he goes out there, Bernardo Silva signing, boom, comes out of nowhere. You think, fucking hell, where's that come from? You know what I mean? He's been great. Gabriel Jesus, 20 million. We're signing these Brazilian kids now and sticking them all over the place. But Liverpool have done it a good way. Like you say, they've had to be shrewd with it. They've done it right. They've got a great team. The spirit that Klopp's brought and the unity. I talk about uniting the fans, and Pep did that with us by being open and honest and not blowing smoke up our ass. And we all got behind him. And yous are the same with him. That Klopp now, it's like an army. You've got your army, we've got our army, innit? And it's different because we haven't got the European history of Liverpool. We haven't even got the league pedigree of Liverpool. But this is what I'm saying. We're building a football club from the bottom up. We was always Manchester City, loyalty, local fans, always backing the club, whether they were in Division 2, whatever. We had Man United across the road winning European Cups. We were always getting shit on from great heights. So now we're not that Man City anymore. That Man City that you think you're talking about ain't there. From the top to the bottom, this club is a monster.
It's giant a globe monster. And a half, isn't it, Grizz?
Yeah, it's a monster. But Liverpool are back. You know what I mean? They had all them years in the wilderness. It just looked like they were making bad mistakes. But at the end of the day, they're unstoppable at the minute. And this season they've had's fantastic. And you look at them and you're on for a quadruple. It's unbelievable. This is what I'm saying. People don't realise. And, it's going down to the wire weekend. But they've pushed us. And I've always said it. The nerves and the tension. You literally can't go to a match now if you're a Liverpool or Man City fan and enjoy it. Because if you draw, it's a fucking bad result. That is how bad it is. So these teams that are hosting now pre-season, all going on the jolly up, getting on the cans and that, and they win one and they lose one, that's great. But when you're supporting our team up and down the country, flying to Madrid and all that, you draw, it's game over. And then the fact that Manchester City Football Club could finish this season with nothing, yeah, and you could finish it with 4, is hard to take. That is why we've got to get the job done, man. Because we've been limping for the last 6 or 7 games. We've been limping a bit. Fernandinho at the back, it's not been great. But we're there now. We've arrived at the last game. We've still got our noses in front. So it's in our hands.
Errol, he's spot on. It's mental. A draw, we've taken it to a level where a draw is a defeat. Like, take that in. It's literally a draw. We've turned it into 3 points for a win, right? No points for a thing. And it might as well be no points for a draw. Yeah. That's the margins of error we're talking about. We're looking for one more draw, though.
But do you know on Saturday, Grizz, 2-0 down at West Ham, yeah? Bear in mind, I've been to Wolves on the Wednesday night. Kevin De Bruyne's destroyed them. We're fucking defensively bad, yeah? They've had 2 chances, scored 2 goals. You're thinking, Jesus. Then I'm thinking in my head, right, we need a point. We did this against Tottenham. We were 2 down. We got to 2-2. We tried to go for it. Tottenham caught us on the counter. Done us. You're in the title race. You need a point. A point keeps you ahead, yeah? End of story. And we came back. Great character half-time. Came back, got the point. Yeah, we missed a penalty to seal it, but it is what it is. We got that point, and that point could prove vital. But it's fine margins, man. It's fine margins.
This is it. Errol, these fine margins. So look at how Steve's mentality and the way he looks at it, and he's absolutely spot on. From his angle, 2-0 down at City with Fernandinho at the back, right? You're thinking, my God, this could go proper tits up. Because I believe if we had to go to Southampton and win 5-6, we probably could have. because that's how crap Southampton were and we were good, right? So that could have been proper tasty. They get the draw, but then they miss a penalty. Now shifting it onto a Liverpool point of view, Errol, we're sitting there and thinking, you know what, that penalty miss, there's something in the air here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the two sets of fan bases and dreamers, right? Now City are thinking, 2-0 down, great mentality, great comeback against West Ham, away, raining, down in London, job done, it's in our hands. Liverpool fans are thinking, Mahrez, literally, it's game over. We turn up on Sunday, give the guys a good farewell. Thank you for an amazing season. Go and win number 7. But now that Mahrez thing, and we're starting thinking fantasy. Now we're thinking Aguero's 10-year anniversary. What can possibly top Aguero? For me, that is the ultimate Premier League moment of all time. What can possibly top that? Steven Gerrard winning it, not winning it, but getting a draw at best, I believe, at City. It's fascinating how the two fan bases go into this weekend, and it's proper.
Do you know what I'm saying as well? I'm saying on my show, look, we have been in the last game of the season on the bones of our ass, needing 2 goals in the 89th minute to win the league, and we did it. So no matter what happens on Sunday, if Aston Villa score 1, if Aston Villa score 2, been there before, don't panic, get behind them. Whether we panic is another thing, but what I'm saying is we've been there before. And the fairy tale thing, people that say Steven Gerrard, he's going to do this, Coutinho's going to win it in the 90th minute, and say that's a load of bollocks. That ain't a load of bollocks, because Manchester City snatching the title away from Man United in the last kick of the game is exactly what that is. And we proved that that can happen. So anyone that says that Liverpool can't snatch this title in the last minute, Coutinho, whatever, it can happen. I've seen it with my own eyes, let me tell you.
You literally have.
I have. And it's fucking... I nearly died of a heart attack. I thought I was dying, I swear to God. But what I'm saying is, it's mad. So you guys are going in there with a hope on that of the fairy tale, and we're going in there. But when we was going in that QPR game, as I told you the story about it, there were people outside the ground with Champions scarves. And the guy went, champion scarf, £10. I went, fuck off away from me with that scarf. He went, why? I went, we're not champions. He went, we only got to beat QPR. And I was like, mate, you just clearly don't watch Man City if you think that we only got to beat QPR. And look what nearly happened. So Sunday is, for City fans, you'll always get them like, fucking hell. And I feel the same. But I'm confident that we're a different animal now.
As a City, I was about to ask you there, really, you kind of answered. Do you feel like you have imposter syndrome sometimes?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's been a long journey for me to change my mentality, because the little City fucking gonna fuck it up mentality has been in my body for all my life. But recently now, I'm starting to get a bit of confidence, and I'm starting to walk about with my chest out. And people say, "Oh, Big Steve's arrogant." It's not arrogance; it's confidence. When you watch your team week in, week out, and you know what you're capable of, you're going into every game confident, not scared. And it's not arrogance, it's confidence. So on Sunday, I'm going into that game, and I've pushed the Man City gonna fuck it up mentality right to the deepest, darkest back of my brain. So I'm fully confident we're gonna go there and get the job done.
People, there's over 400 of you in here. We have been having, and time's flown, 45 minutes, 48 minutes we've flown, because we've just chatted football and we haven't talked trash and we haven't shouted at each other and sworn at each other, and it's been beautiful. And you guys have been with us. So innit, really? Like, unless you're like weirdos and just not liking it and staying with it as well. Do you know what I mean? That don't make sense. So the fact that you're with it, you're liking it, so hit a like, it's free. Errol, how do you feel? After Steve's talked about his side and his mentality for the Man City fan base, how do you feel? Because you know how I feel, we've spoken about it before, but tell Steve how you feel.
I think that at this point now, because we were at this stage in the week, I'm almost at the point, I threw it out to my group chat the other day. I was like, yo, boys, if there was any other team that could be playing City on the final day, apart from Villa, who would it be? And there was random shouts for like, was it Spurs? Spurs came out a few times. Us, Chelsea, the top 6 sides. And it was like, you're probably going to be more likely to play a team outside the top 6 on the final day of the season. So I feel like we there's this weird thing about, I don't, again, it might just be now I'm starting to see social media Liverpool fans as opposed to the Liverpool fans that I just talk to on a day-to-day basis and just know in person. But there seems to be an awful lot of pressure on Steven Gerrard, the memes, the screenshots, all those things, the GIFs, for him to come out and do something. And as much as I love that narrative, he's only got an affinity to Liverpool because of how much he did for us and his stature. But ultimately, he's the manager of Aston Villa. He's got a level of players that aren't close to City's levels.
He's not on the pitch. If he's on the pitch,
it's a different story.
He's going to influence it. I know he's on the touchline, and look, he is what it is. But it's this is City fans. It's Man City Villa.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm like, I like the idea that there is that added. If it comes off, that added factor to it will be beautiful. It will be almost poetic. But if it doesn't, I don't want us to turn sour because Steven wasn't able to do it. Like, I'm not expecting Steven Gerrard to go and get a point. If anything, that was Liverpool's job 4 weeks ago. If we would have got more than a point, we would be in front right now, and it would be on us to just make sure we beat Wolves. So we didn't do our job at that point in time. In terms of if I'm confident that we'll beat Wolves at home. Yeah, I'm confident of that. And on that basis, I've just got to be proud of this Liverpool team. It'll hurt again to lose to City. We mentioned it before, 3 seasons on the last day in the last 10 years. We've done it 3 times. It's just like, it's a kick in the teeth, but I've almost got used to that now. Whereas Steve's like, I had a little bit of imposter complex, and now I've got a little bit of confidence. I've kind of got resigned that you fall short on a goal tally that would win you the league.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10 in any other era or any other year, season, and we just don't do it because the City side just are relentless. And I said it, my early this season's predictions was it will always be us and City battling out, and I ruled it down to this one factor: history plays a part, but consistency is key. I've always felt that draws are what kill seasons, and I felt that from season 08-09 when we finished second to Man U. I think we ended up at about 4. I think there was about 8 or 9 draws that season. I think we only lost like 3 games in total, and it was ridiculous. And I was only a kid then, so I'm trying to rack my head around how the maths has worked out that those games have cost us more than just losing 3. So I'm thinking you can always lose up to 5 games in a season as long as you're only drawing 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously when we drew in, or we lost in 13-14, again, it was the draws that killed us. I think there was the draw against West Ham. Oh no, that was 17-18. It was the draw against West Ham. And then there was somebody else that we went to the week later. Got 2 draws on the bounce. And it was just a bit like, fuck's sake, if we wouldn't have... They're the ones that always live longer in my memory than the defeats for whatever weird reason. And I said from the start of the season, consistency is what will drive the winners to the Premier League title this season. And for me, there's only 2 teams that have shown they've got the capacity to do that, and that's Liverpool and City. Chelsea on their day look like they could beat anyone. They could go toe-to-toe. But until Chelsea are in a position where they can prove that they can go on a 13 to 15, 16, 18 win run on the back-to-back on the bounce, I won't be sold into the fact that they're title challengers because they've not done it yet under Tuchel. They might have had a good run of form and they might not have lost 10 games or they've gone unbeaten, but it's those wins that stack up. And that's something that City and Liverpool have been able to do. Not once, not twice, but this is like the 3rd or 4th season now where both teams have been able to just put out relentless amounts of wins. Liverpool haven't lost in 2022 in the Premier League yet. We've lost out of our 61 games so far or whatever it is. We've lost 3 games all season. So it is absolutely ridiculous.
And one of them was a dead rubber. One of them was a dead rubber. Inter.
And like, it's ridiculous that we're in this predicament now, and we still might not win the Premier League. We are playing like champions. We are, and we can say that because. And I'll ask you this question now, Steve. Really, this season, which side of the coin ultimately would you rather be on? Would you rather be on? We can lift the Premier League on Sunday, or we can have 2 in the bag going into a Champions League, which I think it's almost what you did last year as well, weren't it? But you didn't get to the FA Cup final, so that was the only one. Which one would you be taking right now, or which kind of camp would you rather be sat at?
To be honest, if you said to me, would you rather have the Champions League and Liverpool win the Premier League, City win the Champions League, this season I would have rather took that. If you're asking me, would I rather going into a final I don't know.
You've got
You
two
gotta
in the
win.
bag. You go into the final, or you're
Yeah, but the two in the bag.
one
The
win
two
away
in,
from the
if
Prem.
you win them two in the bag, nobody gives a fuck. Everyone just says, "Oh, you've won two Mickey Mouse cups. You don't get respected until you win this cup." But the Premier League, you've got to respect it, man. Because that Premier League, if we win that Premier League on Sunday, we've won the Premier League, but it's also stopped a treble and a quad. So it's big, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what Steve's saying is because the jeopardy of the question, you didn't say you win the Champions
League.
You
could guarantee me the Champions League, I'll take it. Go to a final, and when we might bottle it again, I'm not risking that. I'd rather play in the Prem.
It's mad. It's mad if you look at it, right? And do you know what I'm going to hate, Steve? What I'm going to hate is whatever happens on Sunday, right? Other sets of fan bases will call whoever doesn't win the league bottlers.
Yeah, of course.
And that is embarrassing.
Yeah, but you know when you're at the top, Grizz, you're there to be shot at. And no matter what Man City do, it'll never be enough. And I get that. And no matter what Liverpool do, until you've won a treble, it'll never be enough. But that's bullshit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They've all got their own moments. It's banter. But at the end of the day, you as a Liverpool fan, if you walk away happy, and I'm going to walk, if we win a Premier League, I'm going to walk away happy. It is what it is. There's teams out there, mate, they can't chat to us now. It's jealousy, isn't it? It's jealousy, man.
We're 1 and 2 in the world.
Go on.
1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. And I've said it.
You're splitting hairs.
But not 1 and 2 in the Premier League. And I've said it again and again. And I said it to Steve on the Big Six. We said it at the start of the season. I genuinely believe we're the two best teams in Europe and have been. We took a season out last year. And Steve's they all laughed at me when I said, remember we done the predictions and we said, do you remember when I said, who's going to win the league? And I said, and then Saeed or someone said, do you really think you're going to win the league or can win the league? And I said, yeah. And they all laughed. And I said, okay, well, you look and laugh. Skull Froggery sent me the clip. So it's mad because we all know that we are our own teams. Steve knows Man City. I know Liverpool. Matisse knows Chelsea. We know what we've been through and what we're capable of when everything's fine and fit and handy. I knew when the big dogs, that's when the big dogs came out. When they come back, we're going to be back. And we're going to be back with City. It's not going to be Chelsea. We called it earlier on, didn't we? We said, Chelsea, all right, fair enough, but they're not going to be there at the end. Man United, you're miles away, mate. Trust me, we've been through that. And Arsenal and Spurs, do you know what I mean? Just carry on. They're the social media title challengers, aren't they? They play their own whoever's the biggest on social media Premier League title. You know, that's what they're there for, right? But I said it's going to be Man City and Liverpool. And everyone laughed at us, Errol. They said, oh, man, come on, Klopp's finished. His season's over. You lot finished third. VVD might not be the same player. Matip's injured. Henderson's old. Milner's old. All these players, all your strikers are old and out of form. But we knew, Errol, that you guys don't know what we've been through. That one season. Take that one season out, which was a madness. It was a madness. City had
gave me some memories, though.
Remember, Steve, when you lot had...
Even though it was a madness, Grizz, it gave me some memories. And right now, when you look at it 12 months later, I wouldn't trade that season to do.
Sorry, Errol, what is the fucking best memory of last season? That Alisson header in the last minute against West Bromwich. That's football fairy tale shit.
That's history, bro.
And because of that, we're going to Paris on weekend. I can't wait. I'm gonna eat croissant after croissant because of that.
Hey, Grizz, in Madrid, 89th minute, I said, I looked at the scoreboard in the 89th minute and I was imagining eating croissants under the Eiffel Tower with you. Listen, in the 92nd minute, I was imagining eating candy floss under Blackpool Tower on my own. Looking through in Madrid, I was like, wow, I was thinking about croissants, little French berets, onions, fucking garlic bread, and then all of a sudden I thought, nah, Manchester Bar, Blackpool Tower, candy floss.
You know, funny thing is, right? Steve must hate me and fucking hate when I comment on his post, right? Because he was in Paris. No, sorry, he was in Madrid And I was like, see you in the final, and then we'll have business. And he was like, oh, shut up, we have to get there, yeah. And I was like, see you in Paris, son. And I had visions of me and Steve in Paris and all sorts, yeah. And then, oh my God, that shit happens. I thought he's gonna go mad with me. But yeah, candy floss is for you, son.
Yeah, it was a bad one, mate. It was a tough one to take, man.
Steve, answer me this then as well, fella, because since I've jumped on the whole social media or Twitterverse, there was a running narrative for a while that we live in the Pep era. Now, my question to you is that true, or is it a mutually shared era between Pep and Klopp?
I mean, win on Sunday, 4 Prems out of 5. In the 6 years he's been here, pretty dominant. You're going to get people who will try and beat us with the Champions League. Klopp's doing his own thing. I mean, for Liverpool, it's the Klopp era, isn't it? People say it's the Pep era, just trying to rattle you up, innit? Because they'll say that. But look, I'm always going to remember this era as the Pep era, but I'm never going to forget Jurgen Klopp because he's made part of this era what it is. When we've lost to him, you got to take it on the chin. And I think that's the same. You guys will always love Klopp, but then you'll go, fucking hell. Remember the time where City pipped us by 1? We could have done it there. Or remember when City knocked us out? So it is what it is. Eras don't really matter. Your era now is the Jurgen Klopp era, and ours is the Pep Guardiola era. And I think when we look back at it, it'll just be one of them eras where both of them are at it. Like you said before, one wins the league, the other wins the Champions League. That's literally how mad it is.
Yeah. I mean, I get asked all the time, and it's funny. I got asked the same question, Errol. Like, if I could swap, and people like, people have a joke and they get Steve to swap trophies with you. Say, like, you can have the Champions League and you get the Premier League. And you know what? I would. I genuinely would. Like, and it's mad how we look at it, Errol. We look at it like Champions League, done it 6 times. You know what I mean? It's the Premier League we crave. Whereas
I told you, Grizz, that them Carabao Cups and that, when people laughed at me on the Big 6, I said, look, when you win them trophies at Wembley with all your fans and the day out and all that, it's fucking magical, man. I seen you lot celebrating with flares and all that, people crying. AGT from Cop TV admitted to me that he was crying when you won the Carabao Cup. So people who don't go to games, who can slag the Carabao Cup off, but when you get there in the morning with all your fans on Wembley Way and you get in that ground and the atmosphere and you win a trophy, you see all the players on the pitch, it's fantastic, man. Every trophy's fantastic. These people that put the Premier League and the Champions League is just elite, innit? I've never won the Champions League. I'm sure I'm going to get there one day. But that Premier League trophy, and that Champions League trophy are the ones it's at. Any other trophy is a bonus and we love it, but that Premier League for me is the be all and end all for me this season. But I would have took the Champions League. I want one Champions League to feel it. And
I've told you on air, and I've told you off air, you will cry. I know
I will cry, mate. I cried at the playoff final in 1999, so I'm going to cry at the Champions League.
100%. Just a couple of super chats I want to get through. Kevin says, appreciate the support, my friend. He goes, if fans call either of these teams bottlers from only, it will be embarrassing to say that. Can partially see if City lose to Villa, but not right to do so. And then KM says, Villa drew to Burnley. How will they draw to City? Listen, this is the $1 billion question. But this is it, what we've discussed. Football is magical. Every moment in every season, something mad happens. So we spoke about last season when Alisson goes up for a header against West Bromwich. Who the F thought that would happen? The Aguero moment. The
Company scoring a belter.
Company smashing one in from the outside of his boot, curling it away from. Yeah, things happen in football. Yes, they happen very rarely, and that's why they're called fairy tales. But they can happen. They do happen. What was going to say? Sorry, Errol, was you going to say something beforehand?
No, I'm good. I'm good, bro.
Yeah. So look, we're going into Sunday. We just got to focus on what we got to do, Errol. Right? I fully expect us to. Just a very quick one. We're going to do a preview later on, but just the top, like roughly, do you expect us to go with the closest to the Champions League lineup as possible, or do you still think in the back of your head he doesn't take any risks? Even though we have got a
Wolves could get a result, man.
Yeah,
no. Look, actually, if you ask me, Steve, I think even you'd be honest to say Wolves are a better team than Villa. So we've got the harder fixture out of the two.
Yeah. We've had the harder fixture the last 8, the last 10. We've had the harder fixtures to come up against them. I think when you look at it, I think Klopp will go strong because was it 9 changes he made on Tuesday? There was quite a lot of changes. So to get
basically only the Alisson, because Alisson wasn't going to change. So basically every single outfield player changed except for young Khanage.
Yeah. So I think given the fact that that's probably too big a many days off to go from the Champions League team from the cup final to then wait pretty much 2 weekends to then play another game of football is probably too long. I'd probably think he'd probably blend at least 6 or 7 first teamers back in. Obviously, like Joe Gomez can't play now because he's obviously had a bit of an injury. So that means Trent automatically going back in. I think there probably will be some kind of customary minutes for a couple of players to come on, depending on how the situation's going. Look, if City are 3-0 up at half time against Aston Villa, you can see Klopp here in that news in the tunnel and just saying, go on, Divock, there's 45 minutes there. Harvey, Jones, whoever else it might be, Simicast, he'll make those changes because he'll want to preserve his best legs for the final, and he might change Van Dijk. So it'll play out minute by minute, I think, but I think he'll start strong and there will be tweaks as according to how the script is playing out. And if it comes down to a Divock Origi 90th minute winner 2-1 us, and it comes down to a Philip Coutinho 93rd minute equalizer, then that's how the script's meant to be written.
Can I look? I don't believe in fairy tales. I'm too grown up. I am. I'm sorry. I'm going to kill a little bit of the buzz, right? But this Phil Coutinho hype is so over.
Well, pick whoever it is. Tyrone Mings, Gary McAllister coming in off the bench and just I don't care how it goes in the back of the net.
Look, I rate Watkins to a decent. I think he's got the attributes to give them a hard time. But this Phil Coutinho, he's so washed, people. I know he had a good start and everyone got gassed and happy. Honestly, And then every time I think, no, do you know what? Football, fairy tales, shit can happen. Believe. And then I see Tyrone Mings and Callum Chambers trying to keep out Man City at the Etihad. And I just think, Callum Chambers and Tyrone Mings. Like, I just slump back in my chair and I think, bollocks. Do you know what I mean? But from your point of view, Steve, a bit of good news on the injury front. Stones and Walker are back. And that's huge for you because Fernandinho was. He's been an absolute legend for me, very much like Gilberto Silva of the Arsenal Invincible team and Mascherano of the Liverpool team. One of the most underrated DMs the Premier Leagues have seen.
Yeah, listen, he's helped us as well. If we win this league on Sunday, he's played his part. He came on against West Ham. He just had to go back to the dark arts, which is a master of. Mikel Antonio was bouncing him all over, but he just kept pulling him down, just giving him a little. And in the end, Mikel Antonio lost his head to the point where I'm glad he did because his head was off the game then. But obviously, if he'd have been on it, Antonio, he'd have destroyed us if he could have got round. So going into this game, and then they would have had Ings and Watkins up front against Fernandinho at the back. I can't lie, I was a bit shocked with it. And then when I seen that today, it was like all my prayers had been answered, man.
Yeah, it makes a huge, huge difference. But yeah, very quickly, we've got Mark in another super chat. It says, Grizz, big man, hope all is well with you folks. What's going on with that tweet, Grizz? Which one? Hey, Job. Sorry, you forgot the Hey, Job. You're getting me too excited. Nothing to get too excited about. We're in advanced talks with Joel Bellingham, not Jude Bellingham. Liverpool, we go for the cheap option. I'm joking. Before all the FSG supporters come out and come for me, I'm having a laugh and a giggle. But we are in talks trying to get his younger brother, which can only help getting big brother next season.
His younger brother is
apparently so, Steve.
I know a lot of Birmingham lads, and they They actual words to me was his younger brother's better than him.
There you go, an exclusive from Big Steve. So if we're going for the younger brother, he's apparently very, very highly.
Yeah, if you sign him, he's 100%. He's coming in here.
How old is he? The younger one.
He's only about 16, 16, 17, 16 max, I think.
Wow.
He made his debut at 15 for Birmingham, I think.
Wow. That is insane if you think about it, man. When
they're in turmoil, their owners are a nightmare. Now's the time to get straight into him and throw him a few mil.
Yeah, apparently we're the most advanced with him. I've got that piece of information today, and that's why I tweeted it. So let's see how that pans out. But listen, first and foremost, let's look forward to Judgment Day, Sunday. Whatever happens for either team, it's going to be mad, exciting, and entertaining. And that's what we're in this business for, man. This is what it's about, man. As fan bases, man, we go to every game proud of our team, and whatever happens, we know for a fact Steve will be proud of his team. And we know 100% we're proud of our team, Errol. We've got nothing to be disappointed about. Okay, disappointment, yeah, but nothing to not be proud of as well at the same time. It's been magnificent. It's been monumental. We could end up being immortal. I'm not going to lie. Like, I will retire if we win the quadruple. Like, I'm not joking. YouTube bullshit. Shut up. I'm closing all the channels, blocking Steve, blocking all the big six lot, blocking everyone. No one's allowed to talk to me if we win the quadruple.
I'm retiring anyway.
Yeah, you're on 6 months of rubbing it in people's face, and then I retire.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't talk to me if we win the quadruple. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you need to make an appointment to talk to me if we win the quadruple, right? I'm going to go on that level. But look, even if we don't, it's magnificent. And as Steve says, we're going to be at it again in a few months' time. Literally a few months' time. We're going to have
I'm going to be sat at home with a cup of tea watching you argue with someone on the Big Six.
That's why that's one reason I'm glad it's gone as far as it's gone this season. If you would have walked the league this season, Steve, you could have been celebrating for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, living it large. You're not going to, you'll get the summer to celebrate and enjoy it, but we're back at it again in about 3 months.
The other night against Southampton, my missus says, if Liverpool lose, you've won the league, haven't you? I went, yeah, I don't want Liverpool to lose. I went, why? I went, I want to win the league on Sunday. I did it when United lost to West Brom. It was fucking shite, mate. There was videos of the City players celebrating in some random bar on a Tuesday night, and then people would turn up at the Etihad on a Tuesday, about 10 people, and they're like, oh, why didn't you turn up? But you can't get up for it, man, on a Tuesday night, innit? It needs to be Sunday, innit? On sunshine, Liverpool are playing, listening to the radio, what's going on, let us know. That's what it has to be, man.
It's got to be, and it's going to be. It's going to be. As long as Errol says it's not like 3-0 at half time. And then if we look, put it this way.
If you see a Range Rover driving around Liverpool on Sunday night with blacked out windows with the Haaland tunes coming out, it's just me, yeah.
I know, I know it's you. But look, same way. I'm telling you now, I'm going to be on the WhatsApp to you, doing the Poznan to you. You better answer your call with any other result.
Listen, last season I had to enjoy the Champions League final, yeah. I had to go on all the Chelsea channels. I had to cop for it bad. I even had Saeed, the shameless guy, ringing me up while I'm in my hotel just after the final. We had a row live on Instagram Live that went viral. And then I just don't know if I could cope.
Yeah, it's going to be mental. It's going to be mental either way, but it's mad. This is what football's about. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the chat we've had. I've enjoyed it. Time's bloody flown, man. 1 hour, 15 minutes nearly. I promised these lot 45, 50 minutes. But
listen, lads, enjoy the game Sunday. Not too much, yeah. I'm sorry to end it, but we're not letting you do that. Then the week after, you've got a nice trip to Paris, and I'm off to Blackpool, yeah, for a sugar dummy and some candy floss. Remember that.
Exactly. While we're eating croissants under the Eiffel Tower,
exactly. Kiss me quicker.
I will be FaceTiming Steve when he's under Blackpool, pouring down rain and having candy floss. Errol, as always, thank you very much for your time, man. Best of luck on Sunday. I'm saying it like, you support a different team from me, but you know what I mean. Best of luck to us. Steve, as usual, Pleasure as always, man. We catch up real soon, man. Obviously, I don't wish you luck on Sunday, but I wish you luck in everything else in your life and your health and your wealth and your family and all that kind of stuff. But come on, Stevie G, man. That's all I can say. People, there's still over 400 of you in here. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to subscribe and like Steve's channel. Don't know how long he's been doing it for, but you never know. You know, if you show him enough love and support, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Go and check him out. Errol, of course, will be back on Redmen TV. He's going to be doing the penultimate watch along of the season. Could be emotional. It could be emotional. But let's see how it goes. People, this has been Khanage. This has been Judgment Day. Build up. Take care.